Hey guys, welcome back. We're here to talk about books that have come out in April. At this time, it is April 4th, and so I know that I'm incredibly far behind on this, and by the time you guys see this, it might not even be April anymore. Knowing my style, I apologize. Regardless, I wanted to talk about some of these books that I'm pretty excited for. They sound really good. So I'm going to be looking at my screen, so I apologize because I'm just going to basically read through the summaries that were provided because it's just a lot of information for me to memorize and decide which best way to describe what these are about. Coming out April 8th is Boys with Sharp Teeth by Jenny Howell, and the cover of this book looks incredible. This would be considered a dark academia book, so if you're still in the whole dark academia thing, which I am, I still seek out books that kind of fall into the dark academia themes. This claims to be We Were Liars meets The Raven Boys, mind-bending young adult debut about dark revenge, twisted desire, and sinister secrets lurking behind the walls of an elite boarding school. So you're following 17-year-old Marin. She spent her entire life living in the shadow of an exclusive Huntsworth academy. When her cousin's dead body is found in a creek on the school property, Marin knows exactly who is to blame. Dangerously alluring leaders of the school's social elite. There's like a secret society within the academy, so that's what we're following. So swapping her ripped jeans for a crisp prep school skirt, Marin infiltrates Huntsworth to seek justice. But her quest is quickly muddied by the confusing attraction to her new life and to the two dysfunctional, depraved boys who somewhat understand her better than anyone ever has. I'm not going to read off the rest of the summary because I think that it gives away way too much information. Coming April 29th, The Floating World by Axio. This is the author who also wrote The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, and this is characterized as being Final Fantasy meets Shadow and Bone, two of my absolute favorite things. I cannot wait for this one. This is a romantic fantasy reimagining of Korean legend of celestial maidens. Suno lives in the underworld, a land of perpetual darkness. An ex-soldier, he can remember little of his life from before 2 years ago, when he woke up alone with only his name and his sword. He does odd jobs to scrape by, until he comes across the score of a lifetime, a chest of coins of any mercenary who can hunt down a girl who wields silver light. Far to the east is Ren, who's a cheerful and spirited acrobat traveling with her adoptive family and performing at villages. But everything changes during one of their festival performances when a village is attacked by a horrific human-like demon. In a moment of fear and rage, Ren releases a blast of silver light, a power she has kept hidden since childhood, and kills the monster. But her efforts are not in time to prevent her adoptive family from suffering a devastating loss, or to save her beloved uncle from being grievously wounded. Determined to save him from succumbing to the poisoned wound, Ren sets off over the mountains where the creature came from, and from where Ren herself fled 10 years ago. Her path sets her on a collision course with Suno, but he doesn't realize she's the girl that he and 100 other swords for hire is looking for. As the two grow closer through their travels, they come to realize that their paths and destinies are far more intertwined than either of them could have imagined. It's not often that I say I would run out and buy it as soon as it's released, but I feel like that is one that I must read, now. This book came out April 1st, Where Shadows Meet, by Patrice Caldwell. A dark and thrilling romantic debut vampire fantasy that questions what it truly means to sacrifice for love. You have no idea what I've done for love, just as you have no idea what you may one day do. Once long ago, a girl named Favre, Favre? Alright, is it weird that that's really close to Favre? Favre sacrificed her wings for love. Thana, a young goddess she is so willing to give them up for, sacrificed that same love for power. But everything has a cost. Favre never got over the loss of her wings, and Thera's choices led to a life of eternal night, and later their destruction. Alright, this has a lot of different characters. It does seem like there is, I will be honest, the summary of this seems really twisting and turning. We're even in we're jumping around from this character is seeking this character is seeking this, and it's a little confusing. So what I surmise is that you have these two characters who might be on a revenge path. Then we have another character who is a crown princess of an ancient race that survive on human blood. So the whole vampire element. Set in the aftermath of war between vampires, humans, and the gods that created them. Her romantic fantasy debut. I'm assuming that this is a romantasy between two females. So there's that. Coming out April 29th, Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang by Kylie Lee Baker. In this horror novel, a woman is haunted by inner trauma, hungry ghosts, and a serial killer as she confronts the brutal violence experienced by East Asians during the pandemic. Cora Zhang is a crime scene cleaner, washing away the remains of brutal murders and suicides in Chinatown. But none of that seems so terrible when she's already witnessed the most horrific thing possible. Her sister, Delilah, being pushed in front of a train. Before fleeing the scene, the murderer shouted two words, Bat Eater. Ooh. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and not give the rest of the summary on that one. I think that pretty much surmises what this one's about. So that sounds pretty good. Okay. This one came out April 1st. The Library of Lost Dollhouses by Elise Hooper. And I think this one grabbed my attention first off by the cover, because when a young librarian discovers historic dollhouses in a hidden room, she embarks on an unexpected journey that reveals surprising secrets about the lost miniatures. Tidy Barrows, head curator of beautiful archival library in San Francisco, is meticulously dedicated to the centuries worth of inventory housed in her beloved art building. Her uneventful life, but Tildy's, is it her name Tildy? Tildy's uneventful life takes an unexpected turn when she first learns that the library is on the verge of bankruptcy. She discovers two exquisite, never-before-seen dollhouses. After finding clues hidden within the remarkable miniatures, Tildy starts to believe that Belva Curtis Lafarge, the influential heiress who established the library a century ago, is conveying a significant final message. She sets out to decipher the secret history of the dollhouses, aiming to salvage her cherished library in the process. Her journey to understand introduces her to a world of ambitious and gifted women in Paris, a group of sacred World War I veterans in the English countryside, and Walt Disney's bustling Burbank studio in the 1950s. As she unravels a mystery, she finds not only inspiring overlooked history, but also a future for herself, filled with exciting possibilities and astonishing familial revelation. Yeah, so if you really like historical fiction, I think this one's for you. When I would go to my grandma's house when I was little, we would go to a dollhouse museum, and it is one of my favorite stops ever, and it was just so unique and so creative how people would build these dollhouses. And then I had a dollhouse in my room when I was younger, but we never quite finished it. All right, we have another horror novel coming out April 8th, Their Monstrous Hearts, a haunting novel about the boundaries people will cross to keep their dreams alive. A mysterious stranger shows up at Ricardo's apartment with some news. His grandmother has died, and Ricardo has inherited a villa in Milan, along with her famed butterfly collection. The struggling writer is out of options. He's hoping to change the scenery in Milan, and Milan will inspire him. And maybe there's going to be some money to keep him afloat. But her house isn't as opulent as he remembers. The butterflies pinned in their glass cases seem more ominous than artful. A group of mysterious old friends consistently lurking, and there's something wrong in the greenhouse. As Ricardo explores the decrepit estate, he stumbles upon her diary, which might hold the key to her mysterious death, or at least give him the inspiration he needs to finish his manuscript, if he can survive long enough to write it. This sounds so good. I love books that take place in like a house. I do hope that while he's exploring this decrepit house, like we get a lot of on the page, like what does this house look like and feel like, and a layout, you know? The Amalfi Curse by Sarah Penner. I've read her books before. I've read one of her books before, and I really enjoyed it. Powerful witchcraft, a hunt for sunken treasure, forbidden love on the high seas, beware the Amalfi curse. Haven is trailblazing nautical archaeologist, has come to the sun-soaked village of Positano to investigate the mysterious shipwrecks along the Amalfi coast. But Haven is hoping to find more than old artifacts beneath the azure waters. She is secretly, I said that really weird, azure waters. She is secretly on a quest to locate a trove of precious gemstones her late father spotted on his final dive. Upon Haven's arrival, strange maelstrom of misfortunes start plaguing the town. Is it nature or something more sinister at work? As she searches for her father's sunken treasure, she begins to unearth a centuries-old tale of ancient sorcery and one woman's quest to save her lover and her village by using the legendary art of Strigaria, a magical ability to harness the ocean. Could this magic be behind Positano's latest calamities? Against the dazzling backdrop of the Amalfi coast, this bewitching novel shimmers with mystery, romance, and untamed magic of the sea. The Wind Weaver by Julie Johnson. Magic and adventure swirl through the spellbinding romantasy where a young woman reignites the embers of an ancient prophecy, unleashing a storm that could save her realm or doom them all. This takes place in a world that fears magic. Halflings like Raya Fleetwood are killed on sight, but Raya's execution is interrupted by unexpected savior. One far more terrifying than her would be killers. The mysterious and mercenary Commander Scythe. In the clutches of this new enemy, Raya finds herself fighting for her life in the barren reaches of the Northlands. Yet the further she gets from home, the more she learns that nothing is as it seems. Not her fearsome captor, not the blight that ravages her dying realm, and not even herself. She's not an ordinary halfling. And I'll leave it off there because sometimes these summaries just give way too much information. A book that came out April 1st is Gifted and Talented by Olivia Blake. The story of three siblings who, upon their death of their father, are forced to reckon with their long, festering rivalries, dangerous abilities, and the crushing weight of all their unrealized adolescent potential. Where there is a will, there's a war. Thayer Wren, the brilliant CEO of Renfair Magitech, a so-called father of modern technology, is dead. Any one of his three telepathically and electrokinetically gifted children would be the plausible inheritor of the Renfair throne, or at least so they like to think. Meredith, textbook accomplished eldest daughter and head of her own groundbreaking biotech company, is recently cured mental illness. She has recently cured mental illness. Arthur, second youngest congressman in history, and Elide, I'm not really sure how they want that name pronounced. It's Eilidh. Once the world's most famous ballerina, has spent the last 5 years as a run-of-the-mill marketing executive at her father's company. After a life-altering injury put an end to her prodigious career. She might be lacking in accolades compared to her siblings, but if her father left her everything, it would finally validate her worth. On the pipeline of gifted kid to clinically depressed adult, nobody wins, but which Wren will come out on top. Sibling rivalry story. Sounds really interesting. Alright, coming out April 8th is The Float Test by Lynn Steger Strong. The Kenner siblings are at odds. Jen is harried mom struggling under the weight of family obligations. Fred is a novelist who can't write, maybe because she's lost faith in storytelling itself. Jude is a recovering corporate lawyer with her own story to tell, and a grudge against her former favorite sister. Fred, George, and the baby is estranged from his wife and harboring both a secret about his former employee and an ill-advised crush on one of his sister's friends. Gathered after a major loss, each sibling needs the others more than ever. If only they could trust each other. Family secrets, betrayal. A family story is, of course, only as honest as the person telling it. This family story is in particular is fraught with secrets about kids, a rich exploration of family, ambition, secrets, and love. The Float Test is an elegant and gripping testament to the power that family has to both nurture and destroy us, from critically acclaimed writer working at the top of her craft. All right, Emily Henry fans, we have The Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, coming out April 22nd. Two writers compete for the chance to tell the larger-than-life story of a woman with more than a couple of plot twists up her sleeve in a dazzling, sweeping new novel from Emily Henry. Alice Scott is an eternal optimist still dreaming of her big writing break. Hayden is a Pulitzer Prize-winning human thundercloud, and they're both on balmy little Crescent Island for the same reason: to write the biography of a woman no one has seen in years, or at least to meet with the... Anyways, this one sounds incredibly good. All right. In the same vein, we have a new book from Abby Jimenez, Say You'll Remember Me. This came out April 1st. There might be no such thing as a perfect guy, but Xavier Rush comes disastrously close. A gorgeous veterinarian giving Greek god vibes, all while cuddling a tiny kitten? Immediately, yes. This is until Xavier opens his mouth and proves that even sculpted gods can say the absolute wrong thing, like really wrong. Of course, there's nothing Samantha loves more than proving an asshole wrong. Unless, of course, he can admit he made a mistake. But after one incredible and seemingly endless date, possibly the best in living history, Samantha is forced to admit the truth, that her family is in crisis and any kind of relationship would be impossible. Samantha begs Xavier to forget her, to remember their night together as a perfect moment, as crushing as that might be. Okay. All right, guys. So that's the end of the books that I have that are coming out or have come out in April so far. And I hope that you like this list. I'm really excited to read a lot of these. Let me know if there's any books that I left off of this list that you're interested in as well. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.